During the Easter uprising of 1916, my uncle Liam, who was part of the IRA, actually took part in that uprising, and his speciality was communications. He worked for the GPO, the General Post Office in London, and when the war started he came across and joined the IRA here, and he took part in the uprising, and he wasn't based in the post office here. He was based in a building about 200 yards away. So they decided that the whole world ought to know about what was happening in Dublin, and because of his expertise he was selected to install the equipment to let the world know. So on the building that he was at, he had to climb up the outside of the building onto the roof, and when he got there he had to climb up a chimney piece to attach his aerial to transmit his information. As he was climbing up the chimney he could hear all these pings and pings and all sorts of funny noises. He ignored them, put his aerial up, came back down, and all his mates were on the roof. They were saying, "By golly, you were lucky." They didn't say by golly because they weren't yours. But they said, "You were very lucky." And he said, "Why?" They said, "Didn't you hear all those gunshots that were hitting the chimney just by you?" He said, "No, I didn't know anything about that." Anyway, that was his little story there.
That was British snipers trying to shoot him dead.
Quite, absolutely. Now they didn't shoot him then, but when he came down into the street with his gun fighting, he got shot, and he was shot in the hand. And so after about 3 days they all surrendered, and poor Uncle Liam ended up in a prisoner of war camp in Wales, and he spent about 3 months there before he was released back to Ireland, and he spent the whole of the rest of his life living in Dublin.
And that was Liam Daly.
Liam Daly.
And he finished as a captain in the IRA.
Yeah, and he was buried as a captain in the IRA, but he never lost his Cockney accent the whole time, and he was never really trusted in the IRA because he had a Cockney accent.
But didn't he work for the Irish Free Army as well, or the Irish Army?
Yeah, after the 16 uprising he joined the Irish Army, and this was the one that let his sister go when she was in the taxi. He was by then an army captain. So there you go.
Thank you.
Cheers.
They're just there. Yeah.
And the next bridge down that you can see on my left is the bridge that Nana came across in 1921, and she spotted armoured cars all stationed alongside that bridge, and they were heavily manned with guns and cannon. At the time she was a messenger girl for the IRA, and her headquarters was in O'Connell Street in a hotel, and that's where the rest of the gang were.
Who's the gang?
The gang was the IRA and the leaders of it. So she went up to the hotel because she was on her way there anyway, but as soon as she got there she got the leader, whose name I can't recall at the moment. It's all in the history books though, and she told him about the armoured cars on that bridge. And as a result of the information that she gave the leader of the IRA, they decided that they would have to evacuate the hotel before they started shelling. So they immediately got out as fast as they possibly could, and they decided that they would go to a safe house in a little village called Blessington, which is some miles south of Dublin. So they all got in a very rare taxi for those days, and they headed off towards Blessington. But when they started to go across the one of the other bridges in Dublin, they were stopped by the army, and they thought all was up. They'd all been captured. But fortunately, the person who opened the back of the taxi door just happened to be her brother, who was serving in the Irish Army. So he realised that it was his sister, obviously, and he also saw that it was a couple of priests in with her, plus some other people.
Priests?
Priests, yeah. So I don't know if it was the fact that he was letting his sister off lightly, or if he was letting the priests off lightly, but he waved them through without any further checking, and they made their escape to Blessington. They spent several days there before the British Army eventually rooted them out and interned them in the local army barracks. And her punishment was she had her wrist slapped and she was sent home to her mother. She was only about 18 at the time, so perhaps that was a good punishment. And that's my little story of this bridge.
And this is the Tara Bridge, or Tara Street Bridge.